Hello and welcome to the Infinite Escape Room Pubisode. And in the pub, we'll be having a little debrief and talking books, hemorrhoids, maximalism and Gaviscon. Okay, so we are at Dom's aptly named pub, The Harvester, following our adventure last episode, last week for you, but minutes ago for us, playing a game against death for our very lives. Anyway, we're back now. We're having a lovely, cheeky little drink. What's everybody having? Dom?
I was on the red stripe, but it proved to be rather foamy. And I want to be clear, it's not foamy like... You know, it's not that it has a decent head on it, not that kind of nice dense foam. It's more like a bubble bath.
Oh.
You're in the bath and you get some in your mouth, that kind of foam.
Oh, dear.
So I will have a good old-fashioned hobgoblin, please, a ruby.
A classic.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, what about yourself? What are you having?
I'm on the apple juice because I am the designated driver for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, newsflash to anybody listening who hasn't heard. Which comes to think of it, it's probably nobody because
Nobody. I didn't mention last time I was on.
Oh yeah. Laura's expecting to be a designated driver for at least the next 6 months.
Next 18 years.
Oh no!
Yeah, that kid is learning to drive at 12. Laura's pregnant. We're pregnant.
Hooray!
Hooray! I mean, I feel like I should be giving like Laura most 99% of the kudos for this. Because my plan is basically to shake the kid's hand when it arrives into the world and see him again when they're 18.
Lovely.
Nice. Yeah, the good old-fashioned way. The middle class, upper class, rather.
Yeah, I finally see the appeal of fishing. It's the second. It was the very second that discovered Laura was pregnant. I was suddenly like, oh man, sitting around doing something incredibly boring for ages in green trousers sounds amazing. And I'm Mike, soon to be divorced, possibly dead. And I am drinking, I've got 2 beers in front of me on the go because I opened the first one earlier and there's a bit of a story behind it. I had 2 beers as a gift from my aunt who knows that I like trying different beers.
Is she a listener?
I'm not sure Auntie Sue listens.
I don't think she would know.
I'm sure we can get it to her.
Well, shout out to Auntie Sue.
This Sue, nice to speak at you.
Well, very much a shout out to Auntie Sue. Thank you very much for the beers. On cracking open the first one, well, so this is a National Trust beer. It's a Kentish
mead.
I like their mead. This is a Kentish red ale, dark and nutty. And unfortunately, it tastes very much like somebody had a bucket of spare malt, forgot to make beer with it, and then stuck it in a tin.
And there's a bit of what looks like chewable foam on the top.
Yeah, this foam has been here for an hour at this point, and it's not gone down.
It looks like wall insulation foam.
Yeah. Oh god, it's not moving when the water goes over it. That's incredible.
It's like when there's a rushing river, but somehow the yellow scummy foam doesn't move.
Like that. That colour,
Yeah.
that consistency.
Oh,
Don't keep drinking it.
it's so fascinating. It's so
It's good radio.
It's so malty. It's so you know
Like Shreddies malty.
No. Well, maybe like fermented shreddies left in a bathtub. But do you know when we were very young and like the pubs always had like one real cask ale on and it was always undrinkable and terrible and the old men with no teeth would drink it. It tastes like that.
Stop drinking it.
Ah, okay. So I also have my other beer from Auntie Sue. Thank you very much, Auntie Sue. A tin of Westerham Brewery's British Bulldog, which is a pale ale.
Ground sport. All right. Did
they ban it?
I don't know.
I don't know. That was the thing they said.
Our school tried. I know that much.
It's inoffensive. That's pretty good. That's quite refreshing. It's actually fighting with the maltiness of the previous beer still.
So it's like the glass of orange juice to accompany your shreddies.
Having just brushed your teeth.
Ugh. I used to do that all the time. As a kid, I drank a lot of apple juice. I'd clean my teeth, come down, drink a glass of apple juice, and it's nasty.
Yeah.
There was an episode of No Such Thing as a Fish on that recently, wasn't there? Something to do with...
Like the way it coats your taste buds and blocks them, basically, so you can't taste the sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, so you only taste the bad stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you're addicted to apple juice at the moment, aren't you?
I am. It's addicted to fruit in general. No, just normal apple juice. I'm drinking by the gallon at the minute
Yeah.
and eating a lot of fruit.
Yeah, other people have like strange pregnancy cravings. Laura's has been fruit and apple juice.
Pretty much.
Well, you won't get scurvy at least.
Exactly.
I think it's the void left by wine. I think your body's trying to ferment new fruits in your body to produce wine.
A grape deficiency.
Exactly.
Oh, man. That would have been a good title for the episode.
Great good efficiency.
So last week we were escaping Dom's death game room. Dom, do you want to tell us a bit about the room?
So obviously you guys got that one of the inspirations is Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Bogus Journey? The second one anyway, the better one.
Was it Excellent Adventure?
That's the first one.
Was it the first one?
Excellent Adventure is the first one when they have to write a history paper.
So that Bogus Journey is the second one, yeah.
Yeah, because everything goes bogus. And Laura noticed that Bill S. Preston, Esquire, and Ted Theodore Logan's initials are in the Mortal Kombat high scores. I didn't bother to check what year Mortal Kombat 2 came out. I know it was after Bogus Journey. I'm pretty certain it was after Bogus Journey, but I didn't care. And the other thing was that I was literally like, what game should there be? And I thought, no, an arcade game. That'd be a bit of a fun idea. And I thought of the first arcade game that appeared in my brain, which was Mortal Kombat 2. And it wasn't until after I was writing it, I was like, oh, Mortal Kombat, that actually... it could very easily have been Street Fighter. And you would have been like, why is it Street Fighter? But, so Bill and Ted was actually parodying the Seventh Seal, which is the other inspiration for it. So that's an Ingmar Bergman film from... I really should have made notes.
It's like from black and white times, isn't it? Or black and white film?
It was 1956. 1956.
Was he right? What was the name of the film again? Ingvar Kamprad.
No.
I'm going to be like a decade off, aren't I?
1957, not too far.
Oh, but was that release date or when it was made?
Oh, what?
Because I could pull it out based on semantics.
Okay, we've got release date 1957.
In 56.
Okay, release date 57, and they don't talk about the production history in this very... Oh, hang on, they do.
What?
Originally wrote the play in 1953, 1954.
Oh, it was also based on a play, guys.
Oh.
Beforehand.
Oh, man. It was given a schedule of 35 days and a budget of $150,000.
I did know it was a play because the guy who plays Death in Seventh Seal, he's just got a white face and a black hood, and they don't remotely bother to make him look like a skeleton. He was in the play beforehand, like Ewan Bremner in Trainspotting. But yeah, so that's a movie about a knight who comes back from the Crusades, presumably to Sweden. Is this? I'm pretty sure it's a Swedish film.
Yes, it's a Swedish film.
Okay.
I saw that bit.
And he plays chess against death. And then it was Bill and Ted who introduced the idea that they suck at chess, they do best out of three, and play other games with him. Max von Sydow is the knight in the Seventh Seal, and his initials were the MVD.
Ah. Was that why? Was it Death at the bottom?
Yeah, so he sucked. He only got 14 points.
I knew it.
That's the clue as to why you should go for that. And then I actually found out that the inspiration for the whole concept of playing chess against death comes from a piece of medieval art, which listeners at home can Google for themselves, but you guys get to see it now.
It'll be in the show notes / linked, depending on the copyright status.
Linked. I don't know if we have I assume it's... I think the art's definitely...
It's probably out of copyright.
Domain. Photograph. You got to think about who took the photograph.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but
it's a dude playing chess with a skeleton, basically. Mostly, actually, looks like he's got a bit of flesh on him. But apparently that's what inspired the whole concept of gaming with death to save your soul.
Man, art was wild before perspective.
Seen either of those films? Should definitely watch both of them. They're both very good movies.
I think you sent me a clip to Seventh Seal about a month ago, and I ended up watching it on the toilet and really enjoying it.
The clip or the whole movie?
I mean, the clip. I can.
Say, how long are you on the toilet for, man?
Well,
a while.
I can do a double dumper, but normally I need more in the way of distraction for that. Really good book, or something going on the Steam Deck.
So you don't have you should get a TV mounted on the inside of your door. So you
Don't give them ideas.
cast movies to it.
No.
We couldn't we?
No.
Well, you'd need to get some kind of special pillow so you don't get hemorrhoids.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you do that, and then you try and get up, and
Your face plump.
yeah, your legs haven't had blood for 20 minutes, so you just kind of. Apparently, you can get hemorrhoids, well, can't you? Because it's something like blood flow to your ass. Like it increases the risk of it because the longer you're kind of in that position, your blood vessels expand around your pooper.
Mm-hmm.
So how's that different from sitting on the sofa?
You sit at a different angle.
You sit at a different angle because it's the difference between kind of sitting there like, cheeks akimbo, kind of like in the brace position.
Wait, you don't part your cheeks to sit on the sofa. You got to fully relax.
It's a really I don't know why now I think about it. I'll
It is a
compare
thing,
my
though.
sitting later on.
I think it is to do with like the angle you sit at as well.
Yeah.
There's no support under your bum, is there, on the toilet? Only on the
What you're
edges. So it's
saying
like
is that we should get basically armchairs with holes in. That's the future.
no, that's how you get hemorrhoids.
Homer Simpson got there first as well, didn't he? He made his armchair
But I
toilet.
always sit in my armchair and I have yet to get hemorrhoids.
Yeah, because there's no hole in it.
Oh, right. Okay. So we need a tube, perhaps.
Just
like
buy
a bum
other
catheter.
I'm just spitballing.
Some really big nappies, you find.
But yeah, there's some fun mechanics in that one as well. I liked it. That was I think I mentioned the possibility of a room to Dom last week, and then he went, "Yeah, I've got an idea," and then the next day messaged me like, "Written it." So this one presumably just coalesced out of the mist for you.
I didn't realize I'd finished it until I was like, "Oh, there's an answer for everything," and then I thought it just felt like I'd thrown a few ideas together, which is what I normally do, and then I look at how to tweak them so they fit together and fill in any gaps. And with this one, I threw the ideas together, and I was like, "Oh, there aren't technically any gaps, but it also it did feel like you were going to have to try and make some leaps."
I think
You successfully made most of the leaps.
I don't think there are any
What was
big
the-
leaps. Even that last puzzle, to be honest, I look at it now and go, if Jamie had been with us, he would have had that in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
in a second. So if anything, this is Jamie's fault.
Yeah, no, I
Best
was
of Link.
tempted. So I gave you the image of the Scrabble tiles because obviously nobody knows off by heart normally that X is worth 8 and so on. But I was originally just going to make you numerize the alphabet once again. But then I thought, I've got the Scrabble tiles there, might as well.
Might as well do some.
Do it. That was the other thing for a while for us, wasn't it? We had PG Law join us, and it turned out that she had the index of the alphabet memorized from just doing escape rooms and things, so she could just bang them out like instantly, and it was like, wow,
I mean, I
machine.
don't actually know how many letters there are in the alphabet. So obviously,
Me too.
I could tell you that C is 3, and then I could go on from there one by one. But beyond that, it would be complete guess. So I'd say, oh, Y, of course, the 23rd
Something.
letter of the alphabet, but I don't
No,
5th. Wow.
Yeah. because there's 26 letters in the alphabet.
See, I don't know that.
I know that.
Between
but-
like 23 and 29, but my brain refuses to keep that actual number, so I can never work backwards.
Do you think that No Such Thing as a Fish, the QI podcast, have been massively overshooting all these years? They're like, really interesting fact is like, oh, this particular particle can fire through a bum drumbler and works in hairdryers. Whereas actually we're like, interesting fact, 26 letters in the alphabet. And we're like, what? I'm
Mind
shook.
blown.
Did you know the sky looks blue?
They're like, so the sky's blue because of this, except under this. Yeah, they've been massively overshooting, I think.
Well, I think even telling me why the sky is blue, I mean, I know that it's something to do with the refraction, that therefore the frequency hits our eyes at the blue scale on the color, on the visible light spectrum.
It's more than I knew.
Really don't know enough to actually, like, if you know how the whole thing of like, if you know something, you can teach it to someone else. And if you really know it, you can teach it to a child. I have no idea why the sky is blue when it comes to that level of knowing it.
Something to do with, I'm not even going to get into, because I'll basically prove your point.
It's got to be atmospheric refraction, right?
Well, yeah, it's moisture in the atmosphere. So it's the same reason why really clear sea is blue. It's light passing through water.
No, the the sea is reflecting the sky.
Is it? Fuck! I thought it was something to do with water vapor in the atmosphere, and that changing light as it passes through.
Now, the sea is definitely reflecting the sky. The sea has no color. Well, not one you can see. Water is colorless.
Am I an idiot?
But we've said that
Have you
before.
ever held a glass of water up to the sun, and whichever way you turned it, suddenly it turned blue? Has that happened for you?
No, but then I've never been in one of those Tenor for Men adverts, because I don't know where they're getting all their blue water from. But I can assume that's
it. I mean, it's the same as you can never use the liquid that is the actual color of the real life liquid because it's upsetting.
yeah.
People. Unless it's Gaviscon, and then hey, here's some firemen to fire cum down your throat.
Yeah.
Do you reckon their marketing team did that as a dare a few years ago and it's just stuck?
Yeah, it was a drunken Mad Libs game. They were like, hey, that could actually work.
I'm sure that's how most adverts get made. Because it used to be a case of this advert, if you didn't understand what the hell was going on for an advert, it was for perfume. It could be anything now.
It could be his cars, isn't it, as well?
It could be absolutely anything now.
I think that developed pre-internet, didn't it? So that you would talk about it. It was organic viral marketing. If you had something that was really weird that no one understood, they'd go to work the next day and say, hey, did you see that advert that was really weird? And then someone, hopefully in the office, was just like, oh, yeah, that was for Argos or whatever. So that you'd actually get people talking about it. Presumably watching TV in the hope of seeing the advert. I don't know.
Yeah, that whole advert as an event thing massively crosses me. It's when people talk about the John Lewis advert every Christmas.
Oh, the Christmas advert.
I just you'll never guess what mawkish toss they made this year. It's a little penguin. It's the littlest penguin, and he's so small, so his little flippers can't reach a turkey or whatever, and then he goes on an adventure. Oh, fuck,
And the message at the end is always, I mean, love, but capitalism.
Love, but John Lewis. John Lewis likes little penguins. Fuck off! I just unbelievably mawkish toss. Makes me angry.
I don't really watch anything that has adverts. So when it does come around to Christmas, what I do is I read the most excoriating reviews of various people's Christmas adverts possible. So I'm all loaded up with the things people hate about them, the things people have been poking fun at them, and then I YouTube it. And I go, that was bad. And I see it precisely once. It's a minute of my life, and I enjoyed having a little bit of capitalism taken down, and that's it. You can avoid these things if you want to. The same as carols. I heard none last year because Anna decided she didn't want to put any on. That was it. None. No Christmas carols. It was amazing. Although I do like the one about falling on your knees. That's a good one.
We put Christmas carols on Christmas Day, but we did the metal version so we could find on.
Yeah, that's the metal and punk covers, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was our Christmas Day.
That glorious Christmas Day where we weren't allowed to visit anybody. So
2 Christmas days where we had Home Alone. They were nice.
Yeah.
Talking about in the past, I think this Christmas.
Oh no,
this Christmas we did family things.
Oh no, Jesus! Well, this coming Christmas we're not going to be able to. People are going to have to come to us.
Yeah.
If they must.
And it'll be like that going forwards as well.
Oh, Jesus. Do you reckon this Christmas, if we ask people nicely, they'd visit for no more than half an hour and bring McDonald's?
Possibly.
But you don't even need to see you're missing a step that can be cut out there. You're assuming it has to be someone you know and love.
Could just be the McDonald's delivery man.
Who can visit you every half an hour with a McDonald's, and you don't even have to make small talk.
The Uber Eats driver.
Some poor kid who's like, why am I working on Christmas Day?
The man makes a good point. Yeah, saying that, I was that poor kid at one point. I worked in the kitchen on Christmas Day once.
I never Christmas Day.
All right.
No.
It was, I think it was double bubble, but that.
Worth.
But yeah, it was double bubble, but it was double fuck all, so it was like twice fuck all.
Times 2 is £2.
Yeah.
Back when minimum wage was £2 something.
Yeah, I think it genuinely.
£1.17?
It was £3.60. I think I was on an hour. £3.60. So it was £6 an hour, which for working through Christmas morning and your Christmas Eve hangover because you've been out the night before.
I don't tend to see Christmas mornings these days because I don't believe in getting up. But I've also never gotten the thing of going out on Christmas Eve. Like,
We always
I'll have
do.
a drink or two, but I don't want to be hungover on Christmas Day because Christmas Day I'll be drinking by 10:30, as in
I've had
20 minutes after I wake up.
a fair few hangover Christmas Day.
I say it's like your tradition law.
Well, it's my auntie's birthday on Christmas Eve, so I always used to have a family party.
Mm.
It was her birthday. And then when we got to the right age, me and my cousin would go out and meet some of our friends afterwards. And it just kind of became a thing from there. And we've done it a couple of times.
I never did it until I met you. And then suddenly every Christmas Eve was like this mad bender.
Well, I worked some, and when I was in the pub, and you'd come to the pub and meet me there, and our friends would come to the pub and meet.
We had 1 year.
lock-in.
We had an amazing lock-in. So amazing, in fact, that the following day at Christmas dinner, you were a bit peaky. My sister Casey vomited because Mum, for a gag,
Give her a bottle of Malibu for Christmas, and she probably was sick every way just looking at the bottle. It's the slowest I've ever eaten a Christmas dinner.
We're in the restaurant at 2 a.m.
Who doesn't want to clean up vomit Christmas?
Yeah, in the restaurant, 2 a.m. with massive inflatable dicks strapped to us, charging at each other. Brilliant.
And
Sounds like a lot of fun, but that's what New Year's is for, right?
Jaeger bomb train.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
The stickiest bar ever. Yeah, well, I worked a lot of New Year's as well, didn't I? But it's not the same when you work in it.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? Let's bring this back to. Does anybody have anything ranting, bubbling in them?
No, I mean I had a pizza last night. It was a bit too hot, but most of that's through me by now.
I've got one. Laura, what was that concept called?
What concept?
Because so Laura and I have a small disagreement on books. Yeah, there we go. Sundoku. Okay, so Laura and I have a disagreement. Interested to see where you sit on this, Dom, what your position is on it. I think that books are a thing that you acquire and then you continue to acquire until you have no more space, and then you make more space.
Whereas I'm happy to buy books from a charity shop, keep them for a while, and then give a load of books back to a charity shop to make space for new books.
And I subscribe to the Japanese art, the Japanese philosophy of Sundoku, referring to the phenomenon of acquiring reading materials but letting them pile up in one's home without reading them. Because you'll get around to them eventually, so you can dip into them when you want. And once you've read a book, you can pick it up again and remember it.
That latter half, that you'll get around to it eventually, is that actually included in the definition of Sundoku? Because Sundoku to me sounds more pejorative, more like someone who buys books and doesn't fucking read them.
No, it's part of the term.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole idea is having an unread pile, so you've always got something to read.
Pretty much, yeah.
Then, yeah, I'm an adherent. I mean, I'm kind of between the two of you, besides that, in that I will give books away if I don't think I will read them again, or if they're not part of a really nice set.
Yeah, if you're not going to read them again, if you've read them, you thought, okay, that was worth my time, but I'm not going to read it again. There's no point hanging on to it. You can clear space for a book that you may well read again.
Yeah, exactly. But in general,
I'm going to say, I know, looking at your living room, I know
it was aligned with bookshelves. So obviously, I do like a lot of the books I read enough to think, yeah, maybe I will read that again someday.
We do have a lot of books.
It's also nice if a book is a curiosity or has a certain something that you won't get from everywhere. It's nice to have it to be able to lend it to people. And if I give it back to a charity shop, then I just have to tell people, oh, you've got to try and find this book. It's out of print since the 70s, and my copy was falling apart, but I gave it away anyway. It's so much better to have that to be able to pass on to someone, especially if it's a falling apart one, because then they can pass it on and so on until it no longer exists. But yeah, I would say about probably 15 to 20% no, not that many actually. Maybe 10% of the books that I have in piles and on shelves I haven't read, because that's the joy of it. And it also means that if it's a long time until my birthday, or if I've got no money, or if I can't afford a video game, I know there's always something that I'm excited to do in my house that I've never done before.
We both got to read piles and there's books in the house, and I also subscribe to, okay, we've read these books, we're not going to read them again, they're just sitting on the shelf, we could put other books in their place.
But how do you know you're not going to read it again?
And there's a lot of books when
it's a book I know I'm not going to read again. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
As in, this book was shit.
Yeah. Or, that was all right. I've read the story, but I've read a lot of stories like it that are better. So there's no point keeping this one when there's better ones of a similar vein.
So I think the question here then, so it seems, Laura, you'll read something that you think you might like. Michael, how much do you curate your acquisition?
I mean, that's the thing.
Because I only buy books that I think I'm really going to like, and most of the time I'm.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's very much me. I
punts.
I generally don't take a punt, to be honest. And Dom and I share a mutual friend, Andrew, who is the bibliophile's bibliophile, who's just reads like an absolute machine, and then passes on books that he's enjoyed.
Should we say why he passes them on? It might help Laura's cause a little bit.
I mean, ironically, he passes his on because his other half is terrified of literally drowning in books.
Yeah.
Has.
She's not a large lady, and she could definitely be killed by
one wobbly book pile and she's felled.
Yeah.
And that would be like Andrew. Like Andrew's reading, I think. So he was on strike for a couple of weeks at one point, and he showed me his reading pile, and he got through the whole thing, and it was a good like meter of books. He read through a meter of paper in like a week and a half's worth of work days, plus naps. It was bonkers.
He read through a series of 7 books that he has now given me and graced my shelves, even though I haven't read them yet. Although I'm halfway through the first one at the moment, I'm really enjoying it, so I have high hopes.
Yeah, and
I like them. I'll pass them on.
Yeah, well, we do pass books on to people. We pass books on to Andrew as well.
Yeah,
that 9-book series. Each book is circa 650, 700.
Oi, jeez!
He read the 9-book series in the time it took me to read one short story in an anthology.
The thing for me, it's like. If I look immediately to my right, I'm looking at a load
of that nice illusion on your camera of having the wall of books there because of your wallpaper,
and actually a wall of books to my right as well.
I can't see the actual wall though because of your chair.
But so I've got immediately to my right, I've got my Neil Gaiman's, I've got my Louis Master Bujold, the Gaviscon saga. I've got Adrian Tchaikovsky, and I've got some Bill Bryson, which has worked its way onto the shelf. But like,
I gave my Bill Brysons away. I really enjoyed them. I found them all to be single reads. I now know what he thinks of England, and now I know what he thinks of boating. And then you give it back to the charity shop for someone else to pick up for £1 and go, hey, what does Bill Bryson think about astrophysics?
Yeah,
and you get to find out.
It does definitely feel a little out of place in that collection, I'll admit.
I think it's one that's been here for a while and just been moved around from shelf.
Well, no, that's one of my older books. That one, but yeah, the point I'm trying to make with this is, I looked at that side, I'm like, oh my god, I look at those covers, I'm like, oh, I remember the books, and so I'm looking at the titles, I'm like, oh my god, this happened. This one, I loved it. This book really kind of got me like, and I'm really looking forward to the day where I break all my arms and my legs except for like one hand to read with, so that I can just sit in a hospital bed and like read through the whole thing again.
But that no longer works. I mean, it's the same as we've got over 300 board games in the house as well. But our book collection and our board game collection and all of the video games and all of the stack of movies we've got to watch that we haven't watched, all of the TV that's online. We always talked about, if we get snowed in, we're going to have so much to do. And then, of course, everybody was forced to stay in their house for 3 years. And you know what we did? None of it. We recreated the pub in our house. Cards. We did none of those things when we were forced to. Like truculent toddlers, when told, now's the time to sit down and do these things, we're like, no, I'm going to pretend I'm at the pub.
We were pretty good about reading.
Yeah, I think we were pretty... I mean, if anything, Laura, you were like a pig in shit.
Yeah. Well, there's some books I've got and I read them over and over and over again, and I'm going to keep hold of them. But it's just this... So there's a lot of books we have here that you've had since before I've known you and I've never seen you read. And last 14 years, you've never touched those books, at least. So,
I mean...
There's some that somebody else could read.
Yeah, that's easily... that's 28 people could have read those books in that time.
Pick one. Pick one now.
You can even set up something so you get them back in time to read them in that time.
Go on, Laura. Pick one. Pick one. Oh, gosh, just gotta pick one. I'm going to really regret this.
I was going to say, this is roulette, isn't it?
Was it the Last Tango in Aberystwyth?
Last Tango in Aberystwyth. Oh, yeah, that one's not great.
It's not great.
That's Memento, though. Somebody bought me that.
And?
It's a gift. And I went to Aberystwyth.
There's a lot of books in the downstairs library that could probably go.
Oh, but Lord, they're like emergency toilet paper.
There's a lot of them down
Tell
there.
you what, there's been a couple times when I've been drunk at your house and I've stumbled into that downstairs bathroom and I've seen your massive collection of the penguin.
Oh, the little black classics. Those are
the
brilliant.
Little black classics. And I've always thought, if I nicked the Communist Manifesto, would they ever notice?
Probably
I
not.
definitely fit that in my sleeve. But then it's a set, and I hate breaking up sets to the point where when I was in a charity shop and I saw Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4, I was like, no one wants Lethal Weapon 4, but I had to buy it because I didn't want the next person to go in and go, oh, Lethal Weapon, it's Lethal Weapon 4. So I spent the extra 50p and I bought Lethal Weapon 4.
And straight in the bin. Now, there's
The Game of Thrones books.
I'm a hoarder. I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm a hoarder.
Yeah.
And you're not going to read those Game of Thrones books again.
You're probably right, actually. I'm probably not going to read those Game of Thrones books again.
And that's a decent stack of books that could make space for more books that we can put in there.
Yeah.
Energy crisis, you need fuel.
Yeah.
Sort of thing that could last you a couple of nights.
Yeah, a George R.R. Martin book. I mean, just in the level of detail he goes into on the depth of someone's bloody tunic, who then dies 10 chapters later. Like
You
that's...
could easily burn the 10 million cardboard boxes you've got in the loft instead. It's fine.
Oh, my God. Let's
Move.
let's wrap
Nothing
this
will
up.
fit in them. They're all weird sizes.
I have a lot of flattened cardboard boxes in my eaves, so I can't.
Since
Sorry, Laura. As much as I want to be on your side, the more you berate Michael, the more I'm just like, oh dear, that's me.
Maximalists, unite.
Yes, hell yeah, maximalism. Every house should be a wizard's tower.
Every house has at least one hoarder then, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's 2 cardboard desks under the bed that could probably burn.
No, those have been useful multiple times and you know it.
Oh, are we going to use them again for the same reason?
Yeah, for lands. They're brilliant for lands.
What, when this room's got a baby in it?
Let's wrap this episode up. I can see the barman's making eyes at us. No,
He's been
barman.
making eyes at me all night.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, he's motioning for me and Laura to leave, but he's, giving different motions to Dom. Okay, then, let's scamper off into the night. Thank you very much, listeners, for listening. You can subscribe to us on all of your favourite apps, feeds, iTunes, and at our website, theinfiniteescaperoom.com. You can also follow us and get in touch via Facebook and Twitter at tier_podcasts. And now let's bugger off for a little food nightcap. What's everybody's preferred food nightcap post-pub?
Chicken
On the way
burger.
home, I've never been a kebab guy. I was more.
No, it's a chicken burger and specifically the place in uni.
Oh, chicken burger and Sam's fried chicken. Quick postscript. Dom's just dropped a bombshell on the puzzle. This is being edited in backwards, but we remembered we were chatting after the recording. Go, Dom!
So the sigil, it was Heston all along. That was helping you out to get you out of hell. He's the one who provided the button, so you could do the deal with death, and he's the one who gave you all the clues on the post-its. The sigil is an HFB for Heston fucking Blumenthal.
Genius.
And I forgot to mention that at all at any point.
That is very much the aerosol cherry on the
I did say an
chicken.
FB, didn't I?
You did. Oh, banging. That's the
Yeah.